Hey, welcome everyone to Mystics Outlook. We got Cardo Dudley Jr. here. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. The Washington Mystics have wrapped up their 4-game, 9-day road trip. Um, turnovers. Defensively, played a solid more than this was a rock fight between two teams. So I'll say the defense from both groups. That said, you can't do what Washington did today and win a game. And that said, they were in the neighborhood of possibly winning a game. And Cardell, some of the things we've talked about recently, just late in games goes with young teams, learning how to win and things of that nature. But the late game execution, a little bit of a struggle there late. And Phoenix had quite a bit to do with it. Again, first word here we talked about is turnovers, and that's kind of the theme, the story of the day, honestly. But Cardell, the floor is yours.
There's really nothing to really point at other than the turnovers, man. Unreal turnovers, like 30 turnovers in a game is it's ridiculous for any team, but let alone a professional basketball team. Look, it was a defensive battle. It was both ways. It was just like you said, a rock fight. It was physical. Both teams were on the string defensively, digging down hard, jumping, dribble handoffs, jumping screens, just playing great defense. With that being said, both teams left a lot to be desired offensively, but especially for the Mystics. Finished with 30 turnovers, but the 18 came in the first half. That second quarter where the game got out of control, they give them credit. The Mystics battled back and outplayed the Mercury for the most part in the second half, but it was too much to overcome for that second half. I mean, that second quarter was eight of those turnovers in the first half I just mentioned came in that second quarter, and that's how the Mercury was able to outscore them 19-7. You can't turn the ball over 8 times in that quarter and then shoot 2 for 13. It's just impossible to overcome that. But what gave the Mystics a chance was the Mercury was playing equally as bad offensively, so that's what kept them in it. They come by a bucket as well, and that's a credit to the Mystics defense. But the Mercury, you know what I say? Wait till the scouting report catches up. Mystics got off to a good start. Rookies killing. I'm like, okay, so teams are going to start keying in on those 2 rookies, and they're going to key in on everybody else. Let's see what happens when the scouting report catches up. Man, it's caught up. You could just see how the Mercury were jumping the dribble handoffs, not worrying about any counters or anything, just jumping it, knocking the ball loose on dig downs, especially when Kiki tried to dribble in, get to her spot. Multiple defenders from the Mercury are coming down, swiping at the ball, dig down, trying to strip her. Jumping past lane hard. Crowd in the paint telling Brittany Sykes, hey, you going to have to show us that you can hit that 3 consistently before we come back out there. They scouting well. And also the Mercury, for people that may not know, Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabali, 2 of the best, not just bigs, 2 of the best players, period, all-star players in the same front court. That's just tough to deal with as is, man. Then you throw in Kalani Brown coming in at 6'7", one of the biggest players in the WNBA, and how she's crowding the paint, and also just her presence. She's down there. She's big. She's going to alter a lot of shots if not block them. And she's improved her game to the point now she's out stepping out and hitting threes, just like you see right now. They're extremely, extremely versatile, and they want to muddy up the game so it caters to what their advantage is, which is their bigs controlling the game with their versatility on both ends. And that's what you saw tonight, man. You can't beat yourself like that. You can't. I get the Mystics want to get pace. They want to get up and down the floor, keep a fast tempo and all that. But man, sometimes you just got to slow it down, man. You got to understand what you're dealing with, man. And the thing with the Mercury, they threw so many different looks at them, different types of pressure defense at them. Sometimes they press full court. Sometimes they pick them up 3/4 of the court. Sometimes they waited till they cross head, and then they throwing a trap on them. They threw so many looks at them, they just kept the Mystics guessing. And then when the Mystics finally got an opportunity to try to make something happen, man, when they took one dribble, it was like piranhas. They was just all over them, and there you go. You know, it's just a turnover. They're knocking the ball loose, and they off to the races and whatnot, man. Clearly, obviously, the Mystics got to go back to the drawing board, watch the film, and they got to make some crazy adjustments, man. Because you can't just turn the ball over like this, and as well, it's compounded with the inefficiency shooting the ball. You're just not giving yourself a chance to win. The only thing that kept them in this game was they which is, you know, kudos to them. They were competing and playing hard regardless of the woes. They beat the Mercury on the glass, man, 41-26. That kept them in it, man. Second chance points, 18-5, Mystics way. Points in the paint, 22-18. Bench points, Mystics again, 25-21. So if they don't turn the ball over, they win this game. Simple as that. It's as simple as that, man. Because with the 30 turnovers, they only gave up. That only equal 14 points for the Mercury. Points on turnovers. Mercury only had 14. So they got back and forced misses. Their defense honestly was on point, was good enough for them to win this game. They just gave them too many possessions to beat them, and that's how you lose a close game. You see what I'm saying? So they even 18-21 from the line, the Mystics. Phoenix was 15-19. You got them there. You literally outplayed them in all that areas. You just gave them extra possessions to beat you. You literally beat yourself. And that's why they're now 2-3, man. They gotta go back to the drawing board, man. You know, look, the rookies gonna be rookies. You know, you expect them to have some, you know, rough games. Even with this kind of being an all game for Kiki, 11-13. But she was a -10 because she had 7 turnovers. And she had to deal with Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabali for the first time. You know, in a sense, she basically got jumped. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's tough. And you know, Sonya 14, but she was -12. She had 6 turnovers in her own right. Fisher shooting 5 or 8, but again, she had to deal with Satu out there on the perimeter. You know, that's just tough, man. Or at times Alyssa. It's just tough, man, when they, you know, was cross matching and switching, man. So it's a lot of work to be done. Let's just call it what it is, man, because this is not going to fly, man. Guard play has to improve, and you know, Brittany, I know she's coming back off injury. I know she's the leading scorer, but you want 1 for 13, man. Like, come on, man. You know, you as a player, you know you ain't got it offensively. So she could have easily just been a decoy and fed the rooks who were efficient. Citron, area fan. You know what I'm saying? They were 8 for 12. They needed more shots. Citron had 8. Kiki only had 4. She was 3 or 4 from the field. She needed more shots. So if you give them a couple more shots at them, and they score, when I give them a few more shots, they score a couple more baskets apiece. You know what I mean? It could be a different outcome with the turnovers and everything that went down, man. So they got to play smarter and they got to play more discipline, man. And that's just, it's clear as day, man, because this is a head-scratching loss. Like, you just don't see this with professional teams. And for people that may not know how to do some research and go digging, the all-time record for turnovers in the game in the WNBA, Utah Stars back in 1997, 33. Second is the Washington Mystics back in 98, 32. Utah Stars again back in 97, 31. Then you got the New York Liberty in 98 with 30. The Cleveland Rockers back in 99 with 30. And the Utah Stars back in 99 with 30. The Mystics are in that group now, and no one wants to be in that group.
Yeah, that's a list nobody wants to be a part of, let alone be on that list twice. I agree with everything you said. That's the most maddening part about this. What, maybe 6 less turnovers you might have got out of here with a W, because again, you know, and their defense was really that good today. They did that good of a job. They dominated Phoenix on the glass, and you talked about Phoenix, and you know, Washington's missing some pieces. Phoenix is missing another versatile piece in Copper, which I don't know what that's going to look like with the 3 of them running around on the perimeter out there at times, messing stuff up. But for Washington, just like you said, you can't. You just honestly you can't. And I get you're gonna have late game issues and whatnot early on when you're playing rookies a lot of minutes. That said, you know, like I get maybe a possession here or there. They really got to get that sorted out. And like you said, maybe even with the pace thing, tune that up just a little bit to maybe when all the time. It can't be that way all the time without having, a premier table set or something like that where you can play at that, that like at that speed, breakneck speed consistently where you don't have to worry about the turnovers because they're taking care of that. And Georgia, obviously drafted Georgia could be that piece or whatnot, but she's not here right now. What you're working with right now is Sutton, it's Melbourne. Like you said, Slim's playing off the ball a bit, has the ball quite a bit still too. That said, the guards as a whole, everyone obviously, but the guards as a whole, just got to take better care of the ball. At times, that does mean slowing down a little bit. I felt like a couple of possessions late in the game. Phoenix is obviously trying to speed them up. I feel like Washington, at times, it looks like it's been easy for teams to speed them up because they're already trying to go fast. But yeah, this was a tough one because you would have ended. You could have left this road trip 2-2. Instead, it's 1-3. And again, we're 5 games in. It's not like one of these things where you've been out there and you just been punched on. It's not that. It's easier to talk about if it's, hey, they just don't have enough, right? And even with what they're missing, they've been in each and every game. I think like 2 games ago, we were talking about their turnovers have been growing game by game, little by little, as we've been going on. Then today, the dam broke today with 30. That's 2 games worth of turnovers, almost in this one. That said, they got a couple days. Got the Fever in Baltimore on Wednesday. You got the Liberty, I believe, at home on Friday. And again, it's early in the season. You always talk about the scout report catching up. While teams may not have Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabali, teams are going to see that, some of that the quarter court pressure, the full court pressures, the different things that Phoenix did do. While you may not be able to do it exactly the same way that Phoenix did, some teams have different personnel that might be able to do some of the stuff at a better rate than Phoenix did. Like New York has their Twin Towers, on the court, and they have Tasha Cloud over there. Now there's different ways they can present issues to Washington. You got what the Fever can do as well. Teams going to be looking at that until they get that taken care of. Like you said, that's just the turnovers have to go down. But again, for Kiki, fourth game with a double-double. Start of the year, so shout out to her for the double-double. But, like you said, her and Sonia, obviously today, too much with the turnovers, but there's things they're going to be growing pains. So, like, I'm not too upset at them at all. But the vets got to do a better job surrounding them to cushion them when they have these moments. There's going to be moments all throughout this year where they're going to get overwhelmed at times. And to your point, if this was getting overwhelmed, you look at the turnovers, they were still crazy efficient. We had Shakira Austin debut a couple games ago. We saw Leah Edwards make her season debut in this one. They played about 15 minutes. Was effective in the 15 minutes. So it was good to see her back. I'm anxious or eager, I guess is rather the best word, to see her and Kiki share more time on the court together. Definitely looking forward to that because you can see with both what they bring to the table athletically, defensively, that they should definitely improve a little bit defensively. They cover a lot of ground. Then offensively, it looked, again, it's super small sample size today. First time been on the court officially in a game together, but not in each other's way, anything like that. Looking forward to them building some type of chemistry. Washington subs a lot and everything else. But yeah, you had anything else for this before we get to player game or X Factor? All right, player of the game for you.
Mercury defense, man. That's but you going. If I got to pick one, man, I'm gonna go with sheesh. This is tough. I probably Alyssa. Obviously, her defense was crazy, but 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Her all-around impact is what you expect, man. But it was her defense on the perimeter, switching out the perimeter and getting back in the paint, causing a whole lot of turnover, being extra physical, and it made a lot of Mystics players uncomfortable.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And just for me, for AT, it was just the moments in this game, some of those pivotal moments. They all revolve around her. Obviously the play, I think Kiki scored, got a tech. Then you got a couple times later, they got stops and, one woman fast break. We've known this since the Maryland days. She had a couple of those, got downhill, and that was that. Then even late in the game, she's driving, help out the short corner. She kicks out to the corner for the three. What she does on the floor, the attention that she draws, the pressure she puts on the defense. So X factor for you.
Oh, easy. Monique Makani, rookie out of France. Hit some big free throws, hit the big three late, super late. 13 points, 2 assists, but she was 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 6 from deep, 2 of 2 from the line. She was like, outside of the Mystics rookie, she was like the only other player in the game that was efficient from the field, man. She had some big shots to put the Mercury up ahead for good, man, and keep them up ahead.
Yeah, I was going with Akoa Makani as well. After Sabali and Thomas, somebody had to step up. She was the only other player in double figures for the Mercury. And like you said, that's a hell of a shot to hit in a rock fight. Shots matter even more in games like that. It's huge. We got a couple comments before we get out of here. A few comments. Area 11T, what's going on? They got to do a better job of getting the best scores and shooters more touches because Kiki needs more shots. Same with Citron from 3.
Yeah, that's what I was disappointed in with Brittany. You can't force it, man. I guess in a sense, if people want me to break it down, they need her to be Dynasty Laker Kobe, set everybody up and get yours within the flow. With this particular team, instead of I'm going for 81 type Kobe, you know what I'm saying? And today you just saw her trying to shoot herself out just shoot the rest off. Because she's been in a hell of a rhythm to start the season. Then she got banged up, missed the last game. But you don't have it. You can't do that. You need to win against a tough road team. You just had the season where these L's can pile up very quick and you be out of it. See what I'm saying? So, you got to play smart, man. And she knows she's a vet, like 1 for 13. And she's athletic enough to live in the paint, and she was the one player where the pressure didn't really bother her. She just gonna make shots. You see what I'm saying? So use that to your advantage. Be a decoy. Go in there, drive, draw the defense, and kick it. And especially the Citron and Kiki, because Kiki can hit the mid range, or Citron, they can hit shots. You see what I'm saying? So it was other ways she could have figured out a way to attack and try to help the team win, man. I thought she was just too much. She was too over aggressive. And along with the turnovers, sometimes with the shots she missed, those were like extra turnovers. You see what I'm saying? So it was just tough.
All right, another from Area 11C. Can't wait till Amore is able to play next year because we definitely need a lead guard to run the offense.
Yeah, but it's still an adjustment for her, and it's going to be a different adjustment for her because she's coming off of ACL. You see what I'm saying? So it take a minute for players to get back from that. You know what I mean? So she may be playing, but will she be back here with her explosiveness? Be back where she can get past guards and stuff like that. Like it's a lot of questions that only she can answer when it's time. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't even put that on her. Main thing is just getting her healthy and just getting her reps when she do return. That's the main thing.
Yeah, for me, I'm with you. I'm more big picture on that. I'm not even worried about Georgia. Just speedy recovery, get the rehab right. And when you come back, we'll all know when it clicks for her. Let that happen as it happens. Then we have Doug Dame, just several comments. I'm going to run through these. Saying he agreed with Area 11. It's going to be a learning curve, some egos, but the offense is definitely run through Kiki right now.
And I'm glad you said that, egos. You can kind of see a little with these rookies coming on so strong, you can, for some players, you can kind of see how it's a threat to them. You see what I'm saying? But it shouldn't be. And you should be looking at it like, all right, cool, we stronger than what I thought because these rookies are more ready than what we thought. They're ready to go. All right, embrace that and change your game for the greater good of the team. I get the W is very ruthless. I get it. You know what I mean? But you know what else? It's ruthless where they feel like if, I guess, you're not putting up the same type of numbers or something, your role would diminish with, especially if you got contract situations or with another team. I get all that. That's part of being a pro. I get all that. But you know what else they evaluate? Wins and losses. So if you keep being on losing teams, how much is your value now? So, you know, you can't have it both ways. You know, you're not saying a Messi's play, but just in general, you hear a lot of athletes in the pros, they get mad because, like, man, we ain't got the help we need. We need more talent. Then when you get it, you don't want to embrace what these other players can do because you feel like it's kind of going to diminish what you can do. You can't have it both ways. So, yeah, some egos going to have to be checked at the door. Some adjustments going to have to be made. And for the greater good of the team, man. You know, at this point, it is what it is. It's about getting wins, man. And the rookies are ready to go, and they're proving to be two of the better players on the team right now. They produced in every game. At the end of the day, this is a results-based business, so the people who get the best results need to be on the floor.
Yeah, for me, I just think it's super early in the year, and what we see right now, that might not be exactly what this year's Mystics looks like when they get rolling and find the right group, the right mix. And like you said, the rookies are ahead of the curve. That's a plus for everybody involved. And honestly, if they're drawing the type of attention that's knocking them up, based on the scout report, it should in turn make some other folks' lives easier. So again, I'm looking forward to the adjustments to see what happens as we go forward. Got 2 games this week. Again, Doug David Amore's a missing piece. Game transfers like Kiki and Sonia, which I think we're going to be so good. It's about the future. I think we touched on this just a little bit. Went on to say, not mad at this game. Teams are winning off experience right now, but the eye test is there.
I ain't gonna go that far, bro. Like, they got work to do. So certain aspects, yeah, it's strong, but they got work to do.
Nah, there's definitely work to be done. Again, 5 games in of a 44-game season. No concrete answers yet, except that those 2 rookies off to a hell of a start. The guards other than Sykes don't play well when people play up under them.
Weight room, physicality, strength. Got to be able to deal with it. Sykes is a super athletic guard. I don't even think people understand. Like, she's still explosive. She done had numerous knee injuries, leg injuries, all that. Young Sykes, when she was with the Dream and stuff like that, no, it was sick how explosive she was. So, and she's still very explosive. But young when she before the injuries, it was crazy. So, she's blessed with physical gifts that not a lot of players are blessed with, man. So it's different for her. You just got to match physicality with physicality. You got to embrace it. That's how you beat the pressure. You embrace the pressure, and you kind of hit it back. You know what I'm saying? In the sense when defenders try to get up under you and bother you, because that's how you break down. When they see they can't get to you, it makes them start to wonder and think and adjust. And then you dictate things, and that's all it really is, man. So, yeah, it's gonna be a shock when you're not strong. You can't deal with it, especially, and you could be strong, but when you got Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabali hounding you, that's just a different animal. And they sliding their feet, moving with you, but meanwhile they reaching, poking for the ball, and it's body contact, and you bouncing back, and they not moving, they still there. And then you pick the ball up. Now it's a trap coming from somewhere, and you trying to swing, and they knock. That's how you get the turnovers. That's how you get 30 turnovers. So yeah, a lot of ball players don't want to embrace that weight room, but it works wonders.
And to double down on the Sykes part of that, yeah, she's out there. You talk about athleticism, and then the freakish wingspan. She's not bothered by stuff other guards her size are bothered by it because most of the time her wingspan's equal to or sometimes more than some of the folks that you would put on her to bother her. Just honestly not bothered by it. But yeah, there's something they got to deal with because I think they're going to see a lot more of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, like teams are going to get into them, and we saw the effect it's had over the past couple of games when teams are able to get under their guards. Their offense starts even further back out when they can't get to the bucket and whatnot, can't get something easy in that first 8 seconds. Again, Doug Dame, I want to give a nod to the coaches for the recognition and shortening the rotation in the second half.
Yeah, no choice. Some of the players they couldn't play. They couldn't match up. I'm not going to call no names off because that's not what we do, but you saw the game. You know who they are. They were just overwhelmed.
Again, what you were just talking about. You got two folks who used that big enough, physically strong enough to guard post players out on a perimeter sliding with no issue. Actually works out for us. They're getting valuable experience. I guess talking about the rooks. Teams are feeling them, and we lose to keep that draft position.
Yeah, y'all know how I feel. Well, y'all should know how I feel about tanking, man. It guarantees nothing. If you don't believe me, look at what happened in the NBA draft lottery. With that being said, you play to win the games, man. I'm looking at it from a player's perspective. Think about it. Put yourself in the player's shoes. You putting all these L's on your resume, and for what? The hope of bringing in a player that you hope can be that once in a generation type of player. Y'all are pros. Put the work in, and you change it. And if you just so happen with the winning be able to get a player of that caliber, so be it. We just gonna dominate together. But all that tanking stuff don't guarantee nothing. And the thing is, it establishes a losing culture, a losing mentality, and that's hard to build back up and change. It's hard. It's hard, man. So why willingly let that come into your environment, into your organization, to your program? Also, other players that may be interested in your team see you doing that. Why would I want to come there? And current players who could blossom, be something special, why would I want to waste my career here? I'm out. I'm going to another organization where they're about winning. So it doesn't help you. You play to win, man. I get development. The best development just put them out there. But you play to win. Simple as that.
I would also say there's numerous examples where if you just play and try to win, and if things don't work out, some of those teams still end up getting blessed. Numerous examples because they, I'm kind of the same as Cardell. They went about it the right way. And for the mix, I think they got 2 wins next year. If you got a few pieces that may be your core, add to it. That's 2 people to add to it. Cool. Like that's, if you guys are excited about the rookies being here through 5 games, right? Knowing that they're missing one in Georgia. Even Lucy's played in every game. She's in the rotation. That's nothing but a positive. You just got your sophomore back. Play the first game today. See what it looks like. You guys were excited last year for what she did last year. Again, I think Cardell, you brought this up a couple games ago, similar, a little bit on the men's side of things, where you had the player previously, and Bilal and Aaliyah kind of in that case sharing that mode where they were here, and then you had the class with the 3 picks.
Right.
Obviously, Georgia's not playing, but there's some symmetry there that's happening on both sides. And just play. It'll work itself out. Just play. Gonna finish up these last few. Actually, love Kiki got the tech. My only issue was she gonna be nasty enough. Got to be a little nasty to play in the W, and Kiki stuff is ish. Yeah, I wasn't worried about that at all with Kiki, and I'm happy everybody said it. Cardell, were you worried about that?
Absolutely not. Man, you're right. You better be nasty. You better be nasty in the W. I bet you said it for years, man. It's like the physicality in the back and forth is like the 80s and 90s NBA, bro. It's just like that. These ladies not playing. They're fighting for jobs. And if you ain't built a certain way, you're not gonna make it. Matter of fact, you're not even gonna be around long enough to try to make it. You're gonna get cut quick. So yeah, it's nasty, man, especially in the paint. So if you were big and you soft, it won't be long before you're up out of here.
and it shows quick. That's one of the things that cannot be hidden. It's happened to bigs in the past in this league. You find out immediately. It's real. So it's akin to linemen in the NFL in the trenches. You find out real quick.
Yeah, like Brittany Griner is arguably the most dominant player in WNBA history, right? Y'all seen the video? Y'all should have seen the video when she was being interviewed, and she walked away from the interview to get at the ref, like, "Yo," like because they hitting her and holding her. But she's the most dominant. Her and Lisa Leslie, most dominant center that ever played the game. So it's bothering her. Champion, she done that. She done accomplished everything you can accomplish, and it's pissing her off. So imagine these other bigs, especially when you're young. In this case, Kiki, and you dealing with it first time, and it don't get easier. Because now you got to deal with Aaliyah Boston Wednesday, and then you got the champs coming with John Quayle and Stewie. Like,
and the other Sabali's over there.
Yeah, but she's not even getting, they got deeper, so she didn't get a lot of minutes. She's not getting a lot of minutes right now. Also with Cloud and all them. Come on now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun week for Washington. I'm anxious to see how they respond. Last thing, we're happy that you appreciate it, man. So thank you. We appreciate you with the comments as well. Don't be shy with them all season long. And just from what we were talking about earlier, Cardell, Cincinnati agrees, yeah. And that's the thing. That stuff will work out. It'll work out.
Man, it's too much work being put in by these players year round to just lose. Hey, y'all saw the last things. Y'all saw Jordan treated when they were trying to tank and all that stuff, and he was pissed and he was doing everything he could to stop. Yup. All that. All
right, folks. Again, we appreciate y'all. We will check in with y'all Wednesday night and Friday. Real quick, this came from Lexus Philippou. The Washington Mystics' Kiki Iriafen is the second player in league history to have 4 double-doubles in her first 5 career games, joining Natalie Williams in 1999.
Oh,
yeah.
Take those back.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we got that in real quick because I know she made franchise history for it, but it's even bigger when you're making league history. So shout out again to Kiki Iriafen.
Natalie Williams. They don't know about Natalie.
Google it. Learn a little bit. Take advantage of us being the information age. Y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all several more times this week.